Hello, welcome to our latest episode of Where the Stones Have a Story to Tell. This is the second installment of prayer seats, and this is going to be the first episode of two on dual prayer seat sites. These are where, unlike the rest of the prayer seats we've seen, which are all alone out in the woods, nothing within hundreds of yards, these two sites have prayer seats literally within a stone's throw of each other. And so this one, which we'll call Site A, starts with this prayer seat here. It is backed by entire built-in boulder, strong right and left arms. What we're going to do in this episode to just check out why this may have been an important enough site to have two prayer seats, we're going to roam around a bit in this vicinity, close to the prayer seats, to see what we can find that may lend itself to an understanding of what was so important. First, we're going to head this direction out to a peninsula where there are several interesting structures. Then we're going to head up to the boulder-strewn landscape behind you, which is very similar to the one at Site B, and see what might be up there. All right, let's go check out the prayer seat behind this one. All right, go get him, Sally. From this spot in the front prayer seat, we are going to traverse about 75 feet directly behind it. You can begin to see the prayer seat up on a bit of a mound, and you can see that mound hidden from the front. It'll be more pronounced from the back. You can see the front of that mound here. The mound is about 30 feet long, and at its top plane, probably only about 6 feet, and then all the way across maybe 12 feet high. This is a freestanding prayer seat. They both face the same direction, north, and now the mound is a bit more pronounced as we come down here, and that's about 4 feet high all the way up to the top there. And you see stone inside of the back, which could lead one to believe that this entire mound was man-made. And you do see water in this area, but there is a dam, an old earthen dam that's dammed up the water here. So whether water moved here back when the Native Americans lived here or not is up for debate. But that's the dual prayer seat, and we're going to come off here and explore some other features to the right of this rear prayer seat. And we're going to touch on different types of formations that we'll do whole episodes on later. But the first one, about 25 feet away, is a niche. Look at that. You can even see sunset coming into the niche here. It just so happens that this niche, which is about maybe a foot to 18 inches high, faces directly toward sunset on the winter solstice. I'd like to take a little time to explain what a niche is. Niches are stone enclosures. They can be naturally made or man-made. In this case, they can typically be either boxed in, like this one, where the entire structure is boxed in except for the opening. Some can be see-through. You can see the top stone here. They served two purposes. One, they could be a portal between the underworld and the middle world in a ceremony, or they could be a place where offerings to spirits or ceremonies were left behind in that niche. Okay, let's move on to the next site. All right, so from there, we're going to travel further out on this peninsula and see two other formations. About 25 yards from the niche we just saw is this configuration here. It's pretty broken down, but I would argue, because of its orientation, which I'll show you in a second, this is or was a ring of stones. When we take a look at this orientation from the back to what is a pointer stone, or could be a pointer stone in the front, you're looking exactly at sunrise, spring, and fall equinox. So far, just off to the right of the rear prayer seat, we've got a niche that faces sunset. At the winter solstice, we've got a ring, potentially, that faces sun rise at the spring and fall equinox. And the last item here we're coming up on is what I call a structural effigy. Effigies, in the way I'm going to break them down for you, are two types. Structural, which means they are made of multiple stones, sometimes thousands. This is only a couple. And carved. Carved, I mean they're just carved into the side of stone. And we'll do episodes on both of those. But what I would like to submit here is what we're looking at in the body and 1 and 2 wings. A bird effigy, structural bird effigy. And that's what we're seeing here, very nearby that rear seat. So what we're going to do now is head up to the front seat. We're going to explore the large hill and strewn boulder, glacier boulder outcroppings. See if there's anything of interest right up there. This is an excellent example of what the glaciers left behind 15,000 years ago. As we see, essentially 50, 60 feet high of a huge boulder mound. I'm going to head up toward the top here. But along the way, we're going to find ourselves another man-made niche. Look at that. You see, this is a stone here, here, one on the back, and one on the top. Again, about 18 inches high in this split boulder. Niches, real quick, were designed to be small enough that a human would not be in them. And they were used for one of two purposes, or jointly, as a spirit portal to the underworld, or a place where offerings were left behind. All right, let's back out here. And there are a number of different niches here. That one I would think is man-made. There are others off in the distance there, triangular, face out to an equinox event. That's very interesting. But what I want to do here is get up on top of this boulder. Just so happens there are steps built into the side of this, and we're going to get up there and take a look at what we see. All right. Well, that's the camera down there. We're up top looking directly down at prayer seat 1, prayer seat 2, the niche we saw earlier, up where that ring is. And what we are seeing here is a platform capable of holding multiple people. Another one right there, one in front of it, and another perched on top of a boulder there. So there are at least 4 places heading down to those 2 prayer seats where people could have been up here for any number of purposes. But I would say that this is a spectacular site, a dual prayer seat site. I have not seen many of those referenced in research elsewhere. So in the next episode, we are going to go to site B, where the primary difference is instead of front to back, those prayer seats are side by side, right next to each other, but also facing up a landscape a lot like this one. See you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. What are you doing, dog? Hey, hey, Tully.